everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about the new movie, Land of Bad. If you end up liking this video, please consider leaving a like and a subscribe. That way I don't end up being taken captive in a hostile foreign country. The synopsis is as follows. When a Delta Force team is ambushed in enemy territory, a rookie officer refuses to abandon them. Their only hope lies with an Air Force drone pilot as the eyes in the sky during a brutal 48-hour battle for survival. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 things that make a movie great. 1. The plot. This movie has some very brief setup and then it dives right into its plot. Kenny ends up finding himself on a mission with 3 other, much more trained men as they're attempting to go on a rescue mission and save someone from hostile territory. Things end up going sideways and Kenny finds himself stranded in enemy territory by himself with his only ally being Reaper, played by Russell Crowe, manning the drone in the sky above. His goal is to survive, get his men, and extract. Don't get me wrong, I understand this is a straightforward action movie, it doesn't need to be that complicated, but it tried to make itself something more than what it was and ended up just making the plot convoluted. What I mean is that they go into this foreign country with the intent of completing their mission, the mission goes sideways or it might not even exist, and there's just a whole lot of problems that they caused themselves that they're having to try to fix, and you lose sight of the original plot, and it's just kind of messy. On top of that, there are quite a few moments that would build up as if it were going to be some action-packed thing, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. And it was very anticlimactic, and Kenny is wandering around the wilderness of this foreign country quite often in this movie, and it draws it out quite a bit. I don't think they did a very good job with the storytelling of this plot, so even if there was a good idea in there somewhere, for me, plot gets a thumbs down. 2 is family friendliness. Land of Bad is rated R. In this movie, there's quite a bit of profanity, multiple scenes of graphic violence, including a very graphic beheading, torture, and more. Not a movie for a younger audience whatsoever. Family friendliness gets a thumbs down. 3 is acting and script. The 2 biggest names in this movie were Liam Hemsworth and Russell Crowe. And while they were interacting with each other, those were the best parts of this movie. Their friendly and candid dialogue in both calm moments and in the middle of war, I thought were pretty well done and were entertaining. Outside of that, the acting performances were okay, but they weren't amazing, and the script was pretty hit or miss for me for the entire film. There was also quite a few times where you couldn't hear what was being said because the audio just wasn't mixed very well, and so you missed quite a few lines in the film because of that. Again, in a movie like this, you're not looking for thought-provoking dialogue, but there is a little bit of a standard, and I feel like this movie was just beneath it. There was also multiple parts in the script that tried to make this movie humorous, and because that wasn't a theme throughout the entire film, those moments stuck out like a sore thumb and felt like they didn't belong. So for me, acting and script get a 50-50. 4 is character development. This movie makes a soft attempt at character development with the characters of Reaper and Kenny. I didn't feel much of anything. Reaper's character was honestly really annoying at the beginning of this movie, and it wasn't until he got locked on in the mission that he started actually being an enjoyable character. And it was almost the opposite for Kenny. Kenny was enjoyable at the beginning of this movie before they started on the op, and then when they were in the op, I just didn't really find myself liking Kenny's character that much. This movie is what it is, but I feel like they could have stood to make a little more character development, and so it just left a lot of this movie feeling bland. For me, character development gets a thumbs down. 5 is visuals and CGI. I will say there was enough slow-mo in this movie that if you told me Zack Snyder was the director, I would be inclined to believe you. The couple action sequences that are in this movie are okay, but there was nothing really huge to write home about. So for me, visuals and CGI get a 50-50. And 6 is rewatchability. Land of Bad is 1 hour and 53 minutes long. And if I'm being completely honest with you, there were multiple times where I found myself dozing off. This movie fits nicely into the straightforward action movie genre, but it had some pretty egregious pacing issues, and there's just a lot of other movies that do it better. And when I'm in the mood for a straightforward action movie, I'm not going to be thinking of this one. So for me, rewatchability gets a thumbs down. With all these areas considered, I have to give Land of Bad a 3 out of 10. This movie had a couple decent action sequences, some mildly entertaining acting performances, and a final act that was pretty serviceable. But this movie had some major pacing issues, a hit or miss script, a lack of character development and antagonist development, and a plot that kind of got lost throughout the film and tried to find itself near the end but failed. I love a good action movie, and this was an action movie, but it just wasn't good. Also, I had no idea that there was another Hemsworth brother. That one's on me, I guess. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen Land of Bad, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. As always, I appreciate your love and support, and I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one.